Good evening and welcome to another edition of Jazz Tales. Very happy that you could join us this evening. I don't know what the weather is like where you are, but it's a nice rainy evening here on Maryland's Eastern Shore. I'm so very happy to have Alison Crockett with us this evening. I need you to go to her website, AlisonCrockett.net, and look at her full bio, because if I did the bio, there'd be less time for singing and playing, and that's what we want to do here. But it's a very impressive resume, and so I'll tell you a little bit about it. Born in Washington, D.C., she honed her skills at Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, then a master's degree at the prestigious Manhattan School of Music in New York. Upon graduating, she settled in Philadelphia, where she met superstar DJ producer King Britt, who gave her her nickname, Diva Blue. She recorded the classic Seasons Change for his groundbreaking Silk 130 album, When the Funk Hits the Fan. She toured that show, and then when she was done with that, moved back to Brooklyn and introduced herself to the New York City scene by being the front singer for hip-hop and jazz pioneer Greg Osby's band. Fame kept going because she was then courted by another producer who made her the lead singer for Us Three. Traveling, great reviews all around. She continued with Blue Six, Landslide, John Wicks, Mathematics, and a whole host of others, which we'll find out about as we go on this evening. You know how this works, folks. Most of you who have been here before, we'll find out. She has 4 solo projects: On Becoming a Woman, 2003, Bear in 2007, Mommy, What's a Depression in 2012, and Obrigada in 2018. And she's also the vocal instructor at GW University. Would you please welcome the great Alison Crockett. Welcome, Alison.
Hey,
Thanks
how you doing?
So much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's really lovely out here. I like the Eastern Shore.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Glad you made the drive. Sometimes that drive can get tedious.
In these times right now, sometimes a nice drive is very lovely. It's outside of my house and away from my children.
There you go. Well, we're going to get started here with Have You Met Miss Jones? Welcome, everyone.
Have you met Miss Jones? Someone said as we shook hands, he was just old Jones to me. Then I said, old Jones, you're a guy who understands. I'm a girl who must be free. And all at once I lost my breath, and all at once was scared to death, and all at once I held the earth and sky. Now I've met old Jones, and we'll keep on meeting till we die. Oh, Jones and I. Bo 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 beep we did go de bo do go pay dog. Did do bo 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 we bo bo be de yo do bo be de go be de bo be yo bo bo do be de bo do ba do better is o do be I bo do bo bo be 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 bo do be de yo bo bo be de yo be ba da sa do bo bo do do ba del ya do ba 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 do ya di ba bu ba do ya do be you day stead that do be do ba do ya do be with ba bo ba do be u be bo do ba we sa do be a bo ba bo boy so do bo ba do bo be da do ba bo we. Jones. Someone said as we shook hands, he was just old Jones to me. And then I said, old Jones, you're a guy who understands I'm a girl who must be free. And all at once I lost my breath, and all at once was scared to death, and all at once I held the earth and sky. Now I've met old Jones, and we'll keep on meeting till we die. Oh, 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 Jones. Oh, 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 Jones and I. Woohoo!
There we go.
You know, I likes to party.
Just like we rehearsed it. Well, I think when you saw the first shows that I sent you, we say hi to people.
Hey.
So we're going to say hi to people here. Fred and Allison have a great show and some fun. Well, Lou and Janet up in Nutley, New Jersey, we're already having fun.
We already are, yes. That's what's fun.
Steve and Laurie up in Easton, Pennsylvania. Say hi, Fred and Allison. Great to see you, Steve and Laurie. Rena and Mike. Fred, Allison, greetings from Ventnor, New Jersey, and thanks for making music. Yeah, I hope it's not raining at the shore for you there, Rena. I know you said that you and Mike were headed to the shore, so I hope that it's all good. David and Netta up in Montville, New Jersey. Good evening, Fred and Allison. Caroline Ritako. I'm sorry. It's a talent, she says. I think Caroline, she's one of the students that's sponsored. We'll know when we say it, at the end. Oh, I know Kimberly is. I remember that name. Kimberly Rabia. I love her voice. She's another vocal student from up in Nutley, New Jersey. Steve Argano says, wow. Ed Reffel. Ed, you might know from Westminster. He's a photographer. He lives in Washington, D.C. He says, hello from Washington, D.C. Glad to see Ventnor, New Jersey, where I spent a good deal of my childhood in my grandparents' house on South Dudley Avenue. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Cool. You get around there, Ed. Thank you. Appreciate it, Rena. All right, so what are we doing next?
We're going to do Agua G Bebe in A minor.
Yes.
Yay. Let's go.
Antonio Carlos Jobim.
Mm-hmm. Your love is rain, my heart, the flower. I need your kiss or I will die. My very life is in your power. Will I wither and fade or blossom into the sky? Agua G Bebe. Agua G Bebe, come around. Agua G Bebe, Agua G Bebe, come around. Do ba do da, sa do da do da do da do da do da, sa do da do da do da do da do da, sa da 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 dum bo be da boo da do do bo do do bo be. Saturday, Saturday, bubble double, bubble do bubble bit, ya do be did all, bubble did it, be did dee, be do ya do go. Boba do ba uba do be. We sa do do ya wo wo bo 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 be do ya. So do bum dum baby baby bui so do dia da da boo be da da do go boo be da ya do ba 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 boy ba 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 so dia we boo be da do be da do do boo be do be ya da da so do do ba 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 li di so do be so do be so do be sa ga ga da ba bo ba da do da 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 ba 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 do ba ba bo we za ba 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 boy do do do. Sa do ba do ga do da do ga do da. Sa do you do it do da do ga do da. Sa da da da. Your love is rain. My heart the flower. I need your kiss or I will die. My very life is in your power. Will I wither and fade or blossom to the sky? Água de beber, água de beber, câmara. 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 Oh, you are my water to drink. You are my water. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. You are my water. Yeah, 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 yeah. You are my water. Woo, 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 woo. Zuda do da, saguda do da do da do ga do da, sa do ya do be do da do ga do da. Sanda danda. Woohoo!
Just like we rehearsed it. So I got to tell you, folks, you know, there's so many different ways that song could go. So young folks, I mean, just staring at her, knowing exactly what her different things are. There we go. Because no, we didn't rehearse this before. We spent too much time talking and catching up, you know. So here it is. All right, we have more folks. The piano is so effortless, Kimberly Arabia. He's so good. Well, thank you, Kimberly.
Hey.
I think I have your address. I'll send you that money, you know. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Zachary. Zachary is another student. He's actually at the Manus School, if I remember correctly. We'll get to him. We'll talk about him and
Okay.
another student who's getting his degree up in New York.
Yay.
He says, this is just so amazing. So glad to be able to tune in. You guys are unreal. I swear y'all are so good.
Oh, well, thank
Please,
you.
Fred, it's amazing on the piano, and he never opens his eyes. That's true. I try not to.
Most
It
pianists
distracts
don't.
Me.
Most
Yeah.
pianists don't.
Yeah, you know, it's distracting.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of learn to, do that so that,
Yeah.
yeah,
I play
nothing
piano.
gets in the way.
You don't do that. You just kind of.
Thank you, folks. Your kind words are just really nice. What are we doing next?
We are doing A Child is Born.
Oh,
This is one of my favorite songs
Yeah.
of all time.
mine too. I've done it often.
Ah, it's just so beautiful. Knock yourself out. Play.
Thad Jones, A Child is Born.
Knock yourself out. Go. Now, out of the night, soft as the dawn, into the light is child, innocent child, soft as a fawn. This child is born, one small heart, one pair of eyes, one work of art. Here in my arms, here he lies, gentle and warm, blessed this morn. Now, out of the night, soft as the dawn, into the light, this child, innocent child, soft as a fawn. This child is born, one small heart, one pair of eyes, one work of art. Here in my arms, he lies, gentle and warm. Blessed this one small heart, one pair of eyes, one work of art. Here in my arms, here he lies, gentle and warm. Blessed this morn, a child is Woo! I like to ting, 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 ting.
Thank you. Thank you. That's one of my favorite tunes.
It's so pretty.
Big band, small group, doesn't matter.
I do what I do with my choir all the time. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Great jamming, fantastic. Peter from Louisville, Kentucky. Lucky students at GW being instructed by Alison Crockett. Sublime.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Wow, your voice is just so stunning.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We have lovely people here. Thank you, folks. You know, I want to get into the interview here.
Sure.
Just for a minute. Those of you know, I always ask the same question. So for the students, one of the missions of Jazz Alive is, or the mission is the continuation and preservation of America's indigenous art form. And one of the ways that we feel that we get that done is through exposing our young folks to this music, getting them to hear this music, play this music, study this music, and especially in areas where a lot of jazz happens. So that's what we do here at Jazz Alive. And the question that I ask every single artist that comes through is, especially for you young folks that might be thinking about doing music, it's always great to hear from an artist such as a wonderful person like Alison. What was that one thing that made you say, or maybe there were several things that made you say, I have to do music, and more importantly, it's got to be jazz, or lean towards jazz?
Oh, that's interesting. That's a question that I've not been asked, and I've been in a lot of interviews before, and that's one that has not been asked. The first thing that I would say is that I loved the piano. My mother used to say, and I remember doing this, back when there were piano stores, there were stores in the mall that sold pianos. And we would go to the mall and we would pass by the pianos. And I would always have to touch it. And I'd be like, Mommy, I have to go there. I have to play and I have to sit on it. I didn't know anything about it. And I just had to touch it and stroke it and just be like, ooh, this is the greatest thing ever. And so I started playing piano. My father, before he was a physician, was an arranger, composer, and pianist. So I grew up every night listening to jazz, every night, and R&B. And so I was listening to Nancy Wilson. I was listening to Coltrane. My father loved singers. So he was listening to Al Jarreau and Lou Rawls. And then there was Earth, Wind, and Fire, and there was Stevie Wonder, and there was Michael Jackson, and there was all these people that I was listening to constantly and consistently as a young person. And so then the thing that got me to really knowing that I wanted to do jazz was I was in Syracuse University for my first semester of my sophomore year. I was singing in the jazz choir, and I had played in the jazz band as a pianist. Thought I sucked, and I was singing because I studied voice, and I was singing a Mozart aria. I believe it was Bati Bati, or something that Cherubino sang, or whatever it was, and so I was singing it, having a great time, and doing all the things that I do. And the teacher, who was a lovely woman, Julie Newmar, I believe her name was. And she's a wonderful teacher and a wonderful woman. And she said this with all seriousness and all love. She said, "That was beautiful. Now put that performance into the body of a 17th century white woman." And I said, because that's the character.
Right.
That's what it was.
Right.
And I said, "I'm done." And I just said, "This is not for me." It's like, and it has nothing to do with classical music or opera being in any way bad. I was just like, that's not what I'm here for. And that's the thing that I tell my students: know what you're here for. Understand that whatever it is that what your expression is, can come out in any way, with any genre and any form. It doesn't mean that, the other forms are bad. It just means it doesn't speak to you.
Right.
And so that didn't speak to me as much as I enjoyed singing it. I had a great time singing classical music, but I started singing jazz. I was singing R&B. I sang dance music. I sang drum and bass. I sang hip hop. I sang a whole bunch of stuff because you always got to make money in this business. So you got to know how to do stuff.
Right.
So that's kind of probably the point where I was like, I'm done.
But you knew you wanted to do music.
Yeah.
You just knew that it had to be in the way that you felt right with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great story. So I just have to share this with you. You mentioned going to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
I was that little guy that would sit out in the mall.
Mm-hmm.
I was hired by the organ and piano stores
Really?
to play the organs to get people to come into the
Oh,
store.
wow.
I was that little guy. Yeah. So all my classroom friends would make fun of me, and I'm like, "How much money you make?"
That's right. That's right. Don't get it twisted.
That's right. I'm enjoying myself.
That's-
and you're standing here watching me play, and I'm making money.
And you make money. Well, that's the thing. It's like one of the things that I had the fortune of doing is playing in hotels, and the hotel piano or the hotel trio, they're always like, nobody wants to play that kid. But by doing that I think I did it once or twice a month for years with the same people.
Yeah.
It's like you learn your repertoire.
Oh, yeah.
You learn how to work with the same group of people. You learn how to work a room. You learn how to work an empty room and a full room, and still give a good show no matter what.
The first time I saw Shirley Horn was with her trio at across from the Meyerhoff. It was Singers Club.
One Step Down?
No, up in Baltimore.
Oh, up in Baltimore. I don't know that.
I can't remember her name. She had a club across
I
from Baltimore. Anyway, myself and two other people were the only people in the club, and her trio.
Mm-hmm.
And she sang as if there were thousands of people there, and it was the most mesmerizing show. And that was the first time that I learned that you just do what you do, no matter what's happening. You give the best performance you can.
You do what you do, and you make fans out of those people. And I am the biggest fan of Shirley Horn. And when I met her for the first time, I couldn't speak. I think I was 17. I was like, you know, I was just like, this is an amazing person.
Sure.
And the way that she did, the way that she sang and the way that she played, you know, for me, who is also a pianist, you know, I was like, wow, look at what it is that she's able to do and how she's able to sing. And I found the singers that I modeled myself off of.
Wow.
And, you know, every singer that I modeled myself off of didn't necessarily sound like me.
Right.
But I tried to make the things that they did and put them into my sound. And that's what kind of created my sound, because only you can choose the kind of music that comes through you. And you make those puzzle pieces and put those puzzle pieces together.
Right.
You know, that's...
Right.
I don't know if you're a Star Trek fan. I am. And so there's a point where Data, the android, was playing a violin concerto or something like that. And Picard was sitting there and saying, you know, well, you know, what did you make those choices? What did you do? It was really an interesting performance. And Data was like, well, you know, I don't know. It wasn't really very original. You know, I had put this performer here, and then I took this performer and put them there, just like any other computer. And Picard said, well, you know, that's the essence of creativity. You are taking from others, and why did you put that there? Why did you put this here? That was a creative move. So that's kind of how creativity is born, through your choices. Your choices are going to be different than other people's choices. And that's what makes creativity.
Exactly. We better keep going here, because I have like 3 or 4 more questions just off of that. So we better keep going. Yes, Ed, I am Ethel's Place. That's right. Ethel's Place. That was the name of it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Ethel Ennis.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
She had a club across from Symphony Hall in Baltimore for a while.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Lou, you're being smart now, but it is right. I mean, we had a great time that night. There were a lot of people there, but we had a great time. So what are we doing next?
Let's do Close Your Eyes.
Okay.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Close your eyes, rest your head on my shoulder and sleep. Close your eyes, and I will close mine. Close your eyes, let's pretend that we're both counting sheep. Close your eyes, this is divine. The music play, something dreaming for dancing while we're here romancing. Is love's holiday, and love will be our guide. Close your eyes, when you're near to me, close to me, dear, I'll be by your side. So darling, close your eyes. A bit it, do do, blood up, so da da ga da ba ba bo. Sit it, we, sit it, do ya do ba di ya do ba o bit do bit di do 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 ba ba do. So go ba 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 di do be da ba boy. So ba di ya do ba 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 da 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 ba 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 da be a ba ba day. Sit it do we da do. Sit do ba ba di ya do ba 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 do ga da. Do 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 so do de da do be o ba da ba 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 do do de do de do de da. So then ya ba 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 do bo bo be de. So ba bo be bo ya bo be do be de go bo bo be da ba do be. So be then ya bo be do 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 bo 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 do bo be. Rest your head on my shoulder and sleep. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Let's pretend that we're both counting sheep. Close your eyes. This is divine music play. Something dreamy for we're dancing while we're here romancing. It's love's holiday and love will be our guide. And close your eyes when you need me, close to me, dear. I'll be by your side. So darling, close your eyes. So darling, close your eyes. So darling, close your eyes. So darling, close your eyes.
Another great tune, man. Wow. Great tune. Next.
Good. So we'll go right into I have a change that I didn't put on the list. I just feel like it. Let's do Green Dolphin Street.
Sure.
And do it in G any way you like. I like to give musicians the opportunity to be who they are. And I just follow.
Wait a minute. It's a setup, folks. Dolphin Street supplies the setting for nights beyond forgetting, when two drifted apart, memories stay in my heart. When I recall the love I found on, I kiss the ground on Green Dolphin Street. So ba da 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 to be da so say sa da 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 bo 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 to lay so ba bo to bo de to bo be de ba ba woo.
Green Dolphin Street supplied the setting for nights beyond forgetting. And when two drifted apart, memories stay in my heart. When I recall the love I found on, I kiss the ground on, I kiss the ground on, I kiss the ground on Green Dolphin Street. I kiss the ground on, hey, I kiss the ground on, yeah, I have often walked down that street before. I kiss the ground on the street where you live, the street where you live.
Great call.
Yeah.
Great call. On Green Dolphin Street. It says wow. I say wow. Thank you.
What fun.
Yes, thank you very much. So, mentors.
This is where, I always kind of had difficulty with this. I had more mentors in high school than I had any other place. In high school, I went to Arlington School of the Arts. And my mentors there were Davy Yarborough, who is still there, and Edward Jackson, who was teaching me voice at the time. My father had passed when I was 14, and so I ended up inheriting two very strong male figures who kind of took me in and said, we're going to take care of you and make sure that you're okay. And they really, really showed me what it was to be a young woman, a young musician, from a man's perspective.
Right.
And that really, really set me off to be able to do all the things that I did. Another mentor of mine, who's, I don't even think of him as a mentor, I just think of him as a friend, is Randy Muller. From Brass Construction.
Mm-hmm.
We met at the Winter Music Conference, which is a dance music festival in Miami. And, he, really has just been my friend and the person that I kind of drop things off of. And, because he's not only is he, just a great songwriter and a great producer, but he was also a great businessman. So I was always saying, well, these are the things that I need to do. And he would say, think about this, 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 and this. And you need to add this to this. And, think about being an anthropologist in terms of when you're starting to a new style of music. You have to kind of invest and sit in that style, and then you can take it on, and then you can start, making it yours. And, gosh, when I really think about it, the producers that I worked with, John Wicks was a mentor of mine in terms of, looking at music. I came out of jazz, and then I felt like the jazz world kind of said, we don't know what the hell you're doing, and we don't understand you, because you're a vocalist who defies category.
Right.
And we don't understand you. And, now it's okay in jazz to have aspects of R&B or aspects of dance music. But back,
or is it?
But, 20 years ago, it wasn't.
Right. No, you're right.
And so they didn't know what to do. And so I had to learn. And I would write these songs. It's like, where's the chorus and where's this? So I learned, John Wicks would say, why don't you try this? And so I learned on the piano, because I wrote from the piano, if you put your hand on one chord and then move it one step over, and then one step back, and then move it one step over, and another direction, and then another step back, that simplifies things.
Sure.
Quite a bit.
Right.
And in more pop-oriented music, you have to simplify things. Take the seventh off. I'm talking to students. Take the seventh off, or if you're going to use the seventh, you have to use it in certain ways.
Right.
And, so I learned how to write more pop-influenced music and to be a part of the soul movement, of which I was one of those people that, that you hear about in terms of James Poisner and Erykah Badu and Music Soul Child and I was, Jaguar Wright. I was in that whole plethora of people, as well as I was a part of the British soul scene.
So did they know you were a jazz singer? That's kind of where you started?
That's how they picked me up.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Acid jazz was the mixture. It really came out of northern Britain, where they would be literally dancing in clubs to Art Blakey records. Mm. And DJs would scratch them,
right.
Right. And so it was this mixture of stuff. And so I was the local jazz singer, and that's where King Britt found me in the jazz club, and so but people in the soul world think of me as a jazz singer. In the R&B world, people in the jazz world think of me as an R&B and a soul singer. Yeah. So or a dance singer, because I sang so many different things, and I got into doing drum and bass and hip hop. I mean, I did a plethora of stuff.
Having fun playing music.
Yes, because they just asked me to do it, and I was like, I need to eat. How about that?
Yeah,
and so I would write stuff, and I would do stuff, and when I went on tour, I would do a quick track with somebody, and then come back home, and
Right.
and I would and that's how it was. And I mean, in some respects, it's still how it is. Yeah. But it's easier because you can do it now. You could just send a WeTransfer track. You don't actually have to be, you don't have to actually be in the room. But I was frustrated because I didn't have some of the mentorship that I would want. But some of that had to do with me not being as open as I wish that I was.
That we talk about that, and I didn't set your segment up because I wasn't sure exactly everything. Most of the folks that I've had thus far, I kind of had some, but we talked about other things when you got here, so I never asked you. Oh. So I let you set that part up, but I usually introduce that section by saying, folks, listen to this, because sometimes there's a mentor in front of you, you don't realize it, and you're going to miss out on
and you just miss it. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I was an extremely shy young person, really painfully behind the plant, shy person who just happens to be extroverted and on stage and meeting people. But when there's somebody that I really, really admire, I can't even talk. And so what happened is that people would say, oh, why don't you just call that person up? I'm like, I can't call that person. I can't call her. What are you talking about? I can't do that. And so I ended up not reaching out to some people that I probably very easily could have, just as well as, they're just peers that just, you that kind of guide you through things.
Sure.
That you don't, you're not realizing that they're mentoring you, even though they're at the same level that you are at. And, one of those people is like Orrin Evans.
Sure.
And Greg Osby was one of the people that picked me out.
Yeah.
I got my worst review ever with Greg Osby. My worst review.
And then it must have been really good.
I mean, the performance itself, I was great, but my worst review, I was on the subway in New York City and said, oh, Greg Osby was doing this great show and everything was great until Alison Crockett came on the stage. Oh. And I was like, oh!
Ouch.
Oh, it was like the over singing and all of this stuff. And the dude had the nerve to come up to me after the show and ask for the spelling of my name.
Oh.
I was like, damn.
Oh, man.
It was just one of those things. But the thing that I would say, and I'm learning still to this day, that I would tell my younger self, is that literally the song from The Wiz, believe in yourself as I believe in you. And to know who you are and to know your gifts and talents doesn't have to be conceited or boastful. It can just be knowledgeable of who it is that you are and be able to approach and talk to anybody with humility, that you're not the best that ever was, but to know that you have the ability to do what it is that you do. And you can ask people, and most musicians especially are willing to have conversations with you. And the ones that aren't are either tired, they're going through something at that moment that has nothing to do with you. I met Miles Davis very briefly, and I was like, oh, it was really good. It's like, oh, well, I don't have any time for you right now. But it was okay. But when I met Harry Hancock and Wayne Shorter, I had conversations with them. And they were more than happy to have those conversations and listen. So, I mean, that was when I was with Aspen, Nathan Davis over in the Aspen. There was a little group of us, jazz musicians, that did this Aspen program. And I was with Jason Moran, and a whole bunch, Richard Johnson, a whole bunch of people. And so, you just kind of have to, believe in yourself. Right. And go for yours.
Yes. Peter down in Louisville says, Alison's story is fascinating. You can hear all of those disparate musical influences in how she sings now. It's a wonderful blend.
Oh, thank you.
We have some pretty hip people that sign in here. We really do. He hasn't signed in, so I'm not sure if he's watching this, but I know he goes back and catches the show. But one of those mentors that actually sponsors students, will see him at the end.
Oh, great.
I remember him saying to me at a very young age, the minute you think you're the best that you possibly can be, you come see me, because I'll give you a good swift kick in the... Because there's always people that are much better than you. And the minute you start thinking you are the best is the minute you stop growing.
Well, that is the truth. One of the things that I do with my students is, I think I'm a big dog. And so when big dogs come to me when they're used to being big dogs, I'm like, oh, all right. And
what's coming next? And
and I've seen that on the bandstand. My ex-husband, who was a saxophonist, young man came up, and he was like, and he did his whole thing. It was like, oh, that was good, yeah, okay. You want to play with the big dogs? Come on. And he counted 1, 2, 3, 4 blues. and okay. Oops. And the kid did okay. He didn't do badly, but he was like, it's so you have to have confidence, but there's a humility with the confidence that you have to have, that sense of that I can still grow, and don't be afraid of growth.
Right.
Don't be afraid to sound bad. Right. You have to sound bad for a moment. The ice skaters can't do a triple Lutz and immediately and land on the skate.
That's true.
It's not how it works.
Yep. Well, we could keep going, but let's play. What are we doing next?
Let's do O Cantador.
Oh, great.
This is from my Obrigada record.
Yes.
So while he's getting it together, the song, I did it in Brazil. And I had to be taught how to do this song, because I thought just what we were talking about. I had to be taught how to do this song correctly, because I, as an American, knew how to do this stuff. And they were like, no.
Oh, yeah.
And so, so this is, I always do this and say this in honor of my musicians in Brazil. 1, 2, 3, 4. like a lover, the morning sun slowly rises and kisses you awake. Your smile is soft and drowsy as you let it play upon your face. Oh, how I dream I might be the morning sun to you. Oh, how I dream I might be the morning sun to you. How I envy a cup that knows your lips. Let it be me, my love, and a table that feels your fingertips. Let it be me, let me be your love, bring an end to the endless days and nights without you. Like a lover, the velvet moon shares your pillow and watches while you sleep. Its light arrives on tiptoe, gently taking you in its embrace. So how I dream I might be the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be the velvet moon to you. How I envy a cup that knows your lips. Let it be me, my love, and a table that feels your fingertips. Let it be me, let me be your love, bring an end to the endless days and nights without you. Like a lover, the velvet moon shares your pillow and watches while you sleep. Its light arrives on tiptoe, gently taking you in its embrace. Oh, how I dream I might be the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, 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 oh. How I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I dream I might be like the velvet moon to you. Oh, how I might be a velvet moon to you. Whew.
Beautiful.
I love that song.
It is a wonderful song.
I
Wonderful
love
song. Lou says it's all about the delivery. Amazing voice and great accompaniment. Thanks, Fred and Allison. Hope all the students have learned something tonight. Kimberly, I love the expression in her voice.
Ah,
Beautifully sung, Allison. Yes. Yes.
thank you.
What do we got next?
Oh, let's have fun. Let's just do centerpiece. I mean, not centerpiece. Twisted.
Twisted, yes.
Let's do twisted.
In the blues, right?
Yeah, just the blues.
I'm sorry. We just lost her recently. The person, Annie Ross, wrote
We
this.
did.
Annie Ross wrote this. Yes.
Yes, we did. She was one of my people that I really listened to a lot.
Right.
She taught me how to sing high
Right.
while still being jazz-like.
Right.
I didn't know that you could do that.
Yeah. Annie Ross is Twisted.
Yes. 1, 2, 1, 2. My analyst told me that I was right out of my head the way he described it. He said it'd be better dead than alive. I didn't listen to his jive. I knew all along he was all wrong, and I knew that he thought I was crazy, but I'm not. Oh no. My analyst told me that I was right out of my head. He said need treatment, but I'm not that easily led. He said I was the type that was most inclined, went out of his sight to be out of my mind, and he thought I was nuts. No more ifs or ands or buts. Oh no. They say as a child I appeared a little bit wild with all my crazy ideas, but I knew what's happening. I knew I was a genius. What's so strange when you know that there's a wizard at 3? I knew that this was meant to be. Well, I heard little children were supposed to sleep tight. That's why I drank a 5th of vodka one night. My parents got frantic, didn't know what to do. But I saw some crazy scenes before I came to. Now, do you think I was crazy? I may have been only 3, but I was swinging. They all did a Graham Bell. They all did a Zen and also an Einstein. So why should I feel sorry if they just couldn't understand the reasoning and the logic that went on in my head? I had a brain, it was insane. Some just used to laugh at me because I used to ride on all those double-decker buses because there was no driver on the top. Blid-it-blid, blid-it-blid-blid, blid-it-blid-blid-blid, blid-it-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-blid-bl Ba-da-da-lo-be. Ba-ba-da-da-ba-da-da-da-da. Be-do-be-do-it-do-lo-da. So baby do big we do Lord so go ba 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 baby bitty do bitty your baby do 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 ba ba bitty do lo bitty da so da do 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 day be do 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 day ba 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 baby do your day do do ba 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 do baby do your baby baby do be do ba 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 da ba ba do baby stop da 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 stop da 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 ba da ba 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 yo ba ba be do yo ede so get do 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 be do do be do be do ya do bo be bo do bo ba da 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 bo be be do. was right out of my head the way he described it. He said it'd be better dead than alive. I didn't listen to his jive. I knew all along that he was all wrong, and I knew that he thought I was crazy, but I'm not, oh no. My analyst told me that I was right out of my head, but I said, dear doctor, I think that it's you instead, 'cause I have got a thing that's unique and new. It proves that I'll have the last laugh on you, 'cause instead of one head, I've got two, and you know 2 heads are better than one.
Yeah. Now that was fun.
Yes.
Steve says, you are amazing, Allison, and you and Fred sound great together.
Thank you.
Love it. Superb performance. Thank you, folks. Caroline, we're going to learn about you in a second. You guys put so much soul into everything you do. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. So why don't we learn about the few students we have here? With 3 of them from Nutley, New Jersey. And I'd like to thank, and this is the gentleman I was talking about.
Oh,
when
yeah.
I was a kid, he was the euphonium soloist in the President's Own Marine Band at like 17, 18, you know, and I just admired him so much, and he was the one that said, you know, the minute you think. And so John and Sherry, thank you for sponsoring. Kimberly Rabia, I'm sorry, Kimberly, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Vocalist, Nutley, New Jersey. She's in the high school jazz lab, the marching band, and the concert choir.
Oh, wow.
And Caroline Ritacco, I guess, is it. I'm sorry, Caroline. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Nutley High School, vocalist, and flute in jazz ensemble, wind ensemble, marching band, concert choir, and spring musical. Thank you, Sherry and John, for sponsoring them. They're up in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
And Netta and David Argona in Montville, New Jersey have sponsored Zachary Sebik, who's a vocalist and alto saxophone player from Nutley, New Jersey. He's a graduate of Nutley High School, where he was in the jazz lab, jazz ensemble, marching band, chamber singers, concert choir, and spring musical. And now he's at the Mannes School of Music, pursuing his BM in vocal performance and a MA in arts management and entrepreneurship.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Folks, thank you so much. And thank you to our sponsors. We really appreciate. And if you would like to know how to sponsor a student, there's the address. Get in touch with me there, and I'll let you know exactly how we go about doing this. So, any last parting advice for our young vocalists that are here? I like the fact that the last gentleman, he's not only doing the music side, but the business side. I think that's cool.
That's important. I think, I don't know, the most important thing that I would say to people who want to be musicians today is to love it. It is not the easiest life, but if you do what you love, you will always enjoy your work. You know, you won't always enjoy every part of it, but you'll always really get something from it. And it will give you a great pleasure. And be willing to not know how to do what you're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you're searching and you're growing. And the world is changing so very quickly. I went through the time of music where the recording industry upended on itself many, many times over the years because of technology, and it had no idea what to do. But I ended up being able to make a career based off of just hustle, you know, and figuring out and doing this and doing that and trying this. And I was one of the few independent artists that had no record company backing that was touring. Now, though that's common now, not then. And I was able to do all of that and have a booking agent, a promo person, and all of that stuff, and I was able to do it. Nowadays, that's common, but there were only a few of us who were doing it back then. So everything is going to be new. And so be open to that, and don't be afraid of the work that is necessary. And you do not have to be by yourself. This is the thing that I've had to learn. There is no one person that can handle being an artist all at once. There's no one person. Create friends and people around you. Barter, if I can mix, then maybe you could do graphic arts. We can, and maybe you not barter, but you pay a lower rate because you're doing it on the regular basis. Create those associations and friends and business partnerships that allow you to flourish, because nobody can do it by themselves.
Amen. Amen. Ed says, thank you, Fred and Allison, for a wonderful evening of piano and vocals. Such a gift in these socially distant times.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
it. Yes, that's well said. When you were talking about doing it on your own, that was back when a record company would sponsor the tour.
That's correct.
And they would pay for everything. So if you were doing it on your own, you were back then the trendsetter for the way we have to do it now.
That's right.
Record companies, unless you're big, don't have the money to even do that. They're even there,
We were doing background vocals being tracked before that was popular. Matter of fact, clubs didn't like it. They were like, well, we want actual background singers. I was like, look, I can't afford to bring background singers. So here it is right here. And then 5-10 years after that, everybody was doing it.
Right.
It's like all of this stuff. We were doing things, and then I had kids, so I had to stop. But it's that, you can figure this stuff out. Like just watching my voice teacher, Kate Fraser Neely, her son is Adam Neely, and everybody knows Adam Neely now. He started, coming out of music school. And he said, I'm going to do it on my own. And he went and started a YouTube channel, and it just so happened to become what it is. Right. He didn't mean for it to become that. It became that because he needed the money, and he needed to work at it, and he needed to figure a way. And that was the way. It wasn't that he had this vision immediately, though vision helps. You just sometimes, mother necessity, where would we be?
Hard work, get in there.
And just get in and do it, and don't be afraid.
Right. Well, Zachary says, thank you so much for such a wonderful performance and wonderful words of wisdom, beautiful piano and vocals, and it was so fun to tune in. Thank you. We're going to do one more for you, folks. What's that going to be, Allison?
Goodness, there's so many that we could choose from. Why don't we do Beautiful Friendship?
Okay.
Because it's the end.
One of my favorites.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is the end of a beautiful friendship. It ended a moment ago. This is the end of a beautiful friendship. I know, 'cause your eyes told me so. And we were always like a sister and a brother, until one night, dear, when we looked at each other. That was the end of a beautiful friendship, and just the beginning of love. Yeah, it's the end of a beautiful friendship. It ended a moment ago. This is the end of a beautiful friendship. I know, 'cause your eyes told me so. And we were always like a sister and a brother, until one night, dear, when we looked at each other. That was the end of a beautiful friendship, and just the beginning this is the end of a beautiful friendship. It ended a moment ago. This is the end of a beautiful friendship. I know, 'cause your eyes told me so. And we were always like a sister and a brother, until one night, dear, when we looked at each other, that was the end of a beautiful friendship, and just the beginning of love, and just the beginning of love. It was the end, it is the end, it will be the end. And just the beginning of love.
Yeah. Alison, it's been so great having you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for saying yes and coming and telling us your unique story.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This was great fun.
Let's do it again soon.
Yes.
Yes. Folks, thank you so much. Next week, we have Mr. PC. There we go. Saxophonist Paul Carr. You got to come in and hear about Paul and all the wonderful things he does, including the Jazz Academy and the Mid-Atlantic Jazz Festival. So that'll be the end of session 2. So I hope you'll help us make session 2 go out with a bang. Thanks again, folks. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.